he going to blow the whistle if we had a bad question?
Maybe.
You said that after the game Saturday that you were going to look at the films of the last 11 possessions and what all went wrong. What did go to fluid?
Have not watched.
No. Okay.
I haven't brought myself to watch yet. But we spent about 3 or 4 minutes as a team right before yesterday's practice and kind of put the whole game to bed. And we looked at each other and said, if we truly believe in our philosophy that we're never too high, never too low, then we're not going to change anything going into this practice that we didn't do or have done the whole year. And I think everybody was relieved. That was all that needed to be said, and it was business as usual, and we focused on Northern. So since the game on Saturday, I've watched 8 Northern games, and I will be honest with you, I have not watched the last 11 possessions yet.
What have you learned from watching those Northern games?
First and foremost, it's a dangerous game on a short turnaround. In 7 of the 8 games this season, Northern against MAC competition has led at some point in significant moments. So what it tells you is that despite their record, in 7 of their 8 games this year, they've had a chance and put themselves in a position to win. They have played all 8 games without one of the best MAC post players in the league, and her scheduled return is rumored to be for our game. So we have to take into consideration that Ebony Ellis may be back, potential all-conference performer and a tremendous player. But without her, they have played really well and really competitively with a small lineup. And so one of our concerns is when they are small, you have a matchup at that 4 position that a 4 is guarding a guard. And so when they have it on the perimeter, you worry they can dribble drive you and attack you that way. If you back off, they got guard skills so they can score over us. So concerning about their small roster. They are playing a kid that we recruited as a point guard at their 4 position right now. And so as you kind of steal the term from the NBA, they have almost a point forward in their program right now. So their turnovers are low, and they can really attack you with their undersized play right now.
Does that help, though? You on the flip side, you have the size advantage on the offensive end.
It's the chess match. You know, what we do, I think, can present problems to them, but certainly they have the chess match right back, and some of the things can provide problems to us. So we've got to make the game time adjustments, and we've always prided ourselves on trying to be the smarter team during the games and try to do and make those adjustments. So that will be a challenge against Northern also, making game time adjustments.
How do you feel about coaches who answer questions honestly and then kind of get lambasted sometimes for their honesty? I'm referring to Coach Gilbert honestly answering a question about Toledo and Bowling Green and then basically having Toledo go up and smoke and plaster all over their locker room, so to speak.
Well, you know, certainly you learn through the years in the media that you can answer 99% of the questions well. And if you answer a question and you lose composure, you answer maybe a little bit borderline inappropriate, that's going to be the soundbite. That's going to be part of the story. And I think we all can look ourselves in the mirror, and in Coach Gilbert's case, look ourselves in the mirror. If you're being honest, then you won't ever worry about it. And the media will, how it's portrayed is how it's portrayed. But as long as you're honest and you feel like the information you've been given and you're honest, then it is what it is, and it will not bother Coach Gilbert about that, because I believe she'll look in the mirror and say she was being honest.
And that's your philosophy too? I mean, it's been, since we've been working here, it seems to me like you're always willing to give your honest answer, and You're not worried about any kind of repercussions?
No. And, I've tried to be forthcoming with the media in my 9 years. I feel like I'm honest. I feel like I'm not a one-word answer person, that I expound and give people legitimate answers to their questions. And, I haven't been perfect in my 9 years. It's well documented. I've, said some things early in my career that I regretted and I wish I could take back. But, I believe if you're honest and you answer all the questions with your heart and you can look yourself in the mirror and never question that.
You obviously, you came in here knowing we'd ask about certain things. Do you plan at all for a press conference like this? Do you prepare yourself at all?
It's a great question. We know that we're going to have a press conference. I always I'm a film fanatic, so I'm certainly going to be well versed in what I'm going to talk about with our opponent. I'm going to be well prepared that way. But for the questions about individual players, about questions about the program, I'm really just going to always just open my heart, open our program, and be as upfront as possible about that. And so there's not really any planning going on other than the opponent part of it. I know I'm going to be organized when I'm getting asked questions about the opponent.
Now, to follow that up, though, there are some times, if there's something that you want us to know at the end of after a game that we may not have asked, I've noticed that you will let us know. Is that plan? I mean, or how many wins so and so, or things like that.
Statistically, I'm a stat guy, as you guys all know. So statistically, I am prepared to talk about the program, and if there's historical points, if there's points that I think shed potential stories or light on our program, I think that's important. And that again is my thoroughness of the program through Mike and the research that goes on with sports information, that I will always be prepared statistically to help back up points or to help sell our program. Because ultimately, we're trying to get people in to support this program. And one of the great things about Northwest Ohio is the support that BG has, the support that Toledo has. It makes it second to none for women's basketball around the rest of the conference.
Have you felt you've always been treated fairly by all the media here?
I think the support and I believe that we've had unbelievable press coverage for a women's basketball team through our run of success. It's sometimes when you're not successful, that sometimes the lack of coverage is better. But I have had no complaints. I've had great relationships with the press, and our relationships and our coverage through our success has been fantastic.
I don't know if you've already addressed it, but in terms of coming off of Saturday's game, what do you take from that? What do you feel like you can use it as a positive?
I think the best thing that we talked about was that we truly stuck to what our philosophy is, and we never get too high, never get too low. And when we walked into practice, I think there were some looks around like, how's this practice going to start? And we addressed the Toledo game for literally 3 to 4 minutes, and we said, we're moving on, and we've got to prepare for a very, very tough Northern game. I was asked the question if I had watched those last 11 possessions of the game where I felt like we struggled, and I have not. I have not brought myself to watch that film yet, and there will be a time and a place, but I've turned around and watched a boatload of Northern, and in order to get prepared for what I believe is a big game. And so I think the team was relieved that we didn't dwell on it and we didn't change our philosophy just because we lost, that we treated that any differently.